Really, can you now hear me? Meeting. Awesome. Woo. So I'll take a breather. Audio visual, building issues. Everything is fighting us tonight, but we've made it. We're here. Well, first and foremost, just thank you everyone for hanging out tonight. So excited for this topic, navigating data ingestion options in Microsoft Fabric. There's just so much stuff going on in Fabric. I know people are always like, where do I even begin? Hopefully today we can kind of go back to square one, talk about some of the cool stuff that's in there. Some of the things I'm like, you might have missed this, and I think it's really awesome. And then, of course, just asking questions throughout. I don't use this stuff every day. I don't proclaim to be the expert. For using it, awesome. Let the room know, ask questions. Here's how I've kind of used it. Here's how I've implemented it. Just user groups are awesome for that kind of capability of sharing. But let me go and introduce myself here. So Alex Powers, work at Microsoft. I sit on the product engineering team for Fabric, more specifically Azure data. So everything Arunu Log is now touching. He's just taking everything data and AI. So just focusing on a lot of the Azure stack. Personal Illinois boy, though. Grew up in Illinois, probably about 4 hours north. I'm a huge fan of the Chicago Bears. I'm having a blast. We just beat the Packers into oblivion. They're out of here. On to the next one. On to the next one. Bear down. For anyone who plays video games, I got a 22-year badge on Steam, so I'm definitely out there playing. I've been there since I think the second month that Steam was maybe out.
Garbage. That's weird.
I know. Day of Defeat, that's my game. Absolutely love Nintendo NES, any 8-bit. I think I've got like 8 Nintendos, probably like 300 games in the basement. Just keep trying to collect them all. Hopefully one day I own them all, and you ask if you can play them, and I'll say, no, they're all mine. Very selfish in that way. I love hanging out on Reddit all over the place. I love text forums. It's kind of where I started with on the internet. All this TikTok. I'm not planning on doing Fabric tutorials and dancing or anything like that. I love text-based. So if you're on there hanging out throughout the day, you might see me on our Power BI, our SQL Server, our Microsoft Fabric, our Microsoft Purview, or our Azure Synapse Analytics. I'm the moderator of 5 different subs. What are you doing? What are you trying to do? You're sitting at your desk. How do I get you unblocked? It's so cool to me to think about that. You have a problem. Here you go. Here's an entire community of people that are willing to help. And I just love this whole community thing. It's so awesome. Find me on LinkedIn /Alex M. Powers. Over on Reddit, /it's not about the cell. On Blue Sky, it's not about the cell.com. And oh my gosh, I don't know how this domain was still available. Meetup.com/STL data. Nobody locked that down. If you want to come hang out with us, we are the St. Louis Microsoft Fabric and Power BI user group. Chris and myself, another gentleman, Austin. We run that every month, every third Thursday. We're in the afternoon. There's no free pizza, but there is free education. So come and hang out. We meet at 2:30. By then, I expect you to have already eaten lunch. If it's 2:30 and you're still hungry, that's on you. That ain't on me. Let's figure it out. Bring some snacks, bring some peanuts in your pocket. I don't know. Cool. With that, anyone here new to this user group? First time? Everyone, I think, has been here before. Sean, maybe. First time getting the door. Cool. Well, for tonight's agenda then, just overview of data ingestion in Fabric. Of course, looking at methods and capabilities that exist across the different items that are available, and then just some decision frameworks. Hopefully these help you out as you start getting into the tool, maybe within a project. Right tool for the right job. That's what it's really about. Don't over-engineer. Don't try and brute force things that maybe weren't intended for that either. First and foremost, the marketing slide. Data is the fuel that powers AI. We're all feeling it right now. Everywhere we see online, it's AI, or it's an AI-generated post. It is the reality. I really enjoyed this recent Sean Astin, if you're familiar with him, Rudy, Lord of the Rings, kind of one of the hobbits. He was talking about how AI is coming into kind of Hollywood. He's like, we just need to ride the tidal wave. We need to not be overwhelmed. We need to be educated. That's how I feel about it right now, too. What is good? What is not good? I'm going to find the things that make my job easier, make things better. And those are the things I'm going to kind of gravitate towards. Don't be afraid. Again, just be informed. That was kind of his big message. I'm like, yes, this is so cool. But within that, like, I'm a data person. The fundamentals have never changed. Dirty data needs to be clean, needs to be shaped, needs to be ready for systems, ready for analytics, whatever it is you're doing. This has always been the foundation here. Especially as you look at the data landscape, everything is emitting data, everything is producing data. Our devices, this room, these screens, the teams, everything's just firing off data everywhere we look. So thinking about that, how do we consider a modern data and AI stack, kind of end to end? It doesn't all need to live in Fabric. It can still be in other clouds. How do you just extract value from that? So within that, the unified data platform for AI transformation with Microsoft Fabric, you have all these amazing experiences. Anyone here using Power BI today? Couple people? Awesome. Anyone here using Microsoft Fabric? 2, 3? Oh my gosh. Awesome. Well, I can't do my normal thing, which is you're like, well, I use Power BI, but I don't use Fabric. You use Power BI, you use Fabric. Fabric is not a product, it's an umbrella term. If you use Office, Office has Excel, Office has Outlook, Office has Teams, all these different things. Those are tools. I do analysis in a spreadsheet and I send it through an Outlook email. Tools to get the job done. So when we think about Fabric, here are the various tools to help you get work done. Data Factory for ingestion, analytics, which includes data science, Spark, data warehousing as well. Databases was kind of a big one that we introduced with OLTP. So if you're doing any application building, if transactional systems, we now host SQL database in Fabric. Just a light deviation of Azure SQL from our past offering. And then also Cosmos DB. What's going to show up in the future? I don't know, Postgres, MySQL, whatever else we can kind of shove in there, right? Real-time intelligence with Azure Data Explorer, if you're familiar with that from kind of the past offering. So being able to do KQL, event streaming, operational analytics. And then of course, partner workloads. So if anyone here has an amazing idea and you want to build it and you want to sell it for $1 trillion, like let me know after this session. But you can build your own custom workload. So if you're like, hey, here's the underlying data stack, here's my front end that I want to build, and I want to have this be a single button deploy for all my customers, that's what you can do, custom workloads. So you should be looking into. Chris, I keep trying to get you to build a custom workload. Hopefully you'll get there soon with your Impact IQ thing. That's awesome. But reality, here are the Lego blocks. What do you want to build on top? That's data, that's the stack. Of course, everything here, Copilot AI, OneLake, and then governed through Microsoft Purview as well. So not just Fabric on the Purview side, but think about your M365, your Dynamics environments. How do you get all of that governance and overview through Purview? Just that connectivity. Awesome. So when you think about this, really it's dividing out with data, intelligence, and value. So data, your data sources could be SQL, could be an Oracle, could be Microsoft, like a Dataverse, Excel file, SharePoint, Salesforce. Batch, micro batch. It's kind of a newer term. I don't know if I've ever said that one as much, but thinking about micro jobs, just every n number of seconds, minutes, like going after that data. So not necessarily real time, but streaming there. Really, the intelligence layer here for the unified stack, ingesting your data, replicating it, transforming it, and of course orchestrating it. Start here, end here with your task. So data pipelines, and then surfacing the value through Fabric experiences, through Power BI, reports, Excel. You'll never get rid of that. Of course, Microsoft Foundry IQ. I don't know what we've rebranded it to. Copilot experiences with M365 and Power Platform. So analytics, observability, and then just the AI-enabled experiences. We're just trying to surface everything everywhere. It's all interconnected here as a unified platform for your data. Yeah, go ahead.
Things, some of the previous tools have happened between like Data Factory and Fabric, Data Factory, Azure Data Factory, Fabric Data Factory, Azure databases and database there. Or is it underneath, if I create a resource group and database, will I be able to see it here as well?
So there are certain capabilities. So I'll use Azure Data Factory as an example where you can mount that data factory within Fabric. So maybe you're not ready to do a full migration today, but you still want to have it living side by side your other items within Fabric. That's a mounting experience. That still remains a separate bill. So kind of the big thing here with Fabric is hashtag one bill. It's one bill, it's all the experiences. So from there, if you're running a standalone Azure Data Factory, that's a bill. If you're running Fabric, that's a separate bill, 2 bills. If you're like, hey, I have some extra capacity that I'm not using, I'd really like to start moving my pipelines over, let's go. The things right now I'd probably say is a little bit of migration. So things that may not exist in Fabric that do in Azure Data Factory, like tumbling window triggers, a few other things. We're getting there. The P in Fabric is for patience. So just give us a little bit of patience, PHABRIC. But we're doing a lot of migration utilities to make that easy. So you'll see that for Synapse Data Warehouse, being able to seamlessly bring that into Fabric now, kind of push button. And then we're doing that same experience for data pipelines. Yep. Cool. Awesome. Ingestion methods and capabilities. Talked a little bit about data, real-time, OLAP, OLTP. I don't care. All I care about is getting it into OneLake. Get it in there as soon as possible, as fast as possible, make it accessible to everyone and everything. Because OneLake is really the center of the gravity here in the data stack. Get your data in. Let's make sense of it here, maybe with the notebook experiences, with Power BI reports. Let's start feeding that into kind of the Copilot experiences here. Talk to my data. It's getting data into OneLake as fast as possible. So I don't want to be like shoehorned into, well, real time needs to be this. OLAP needs to be this. No, I want to really kind of step back. I want to ask, what do you need? What do you need in your project? Do you have a real-time or streaming need? Maybe. You need a zero copy. You don't want to move your data. You just want to reference it where it lives. Maybe it's not in Microsoft. Maybe it's not in Azure. Maybe it's in GCP. Maybe it's in Snowflake. Maybe it's in a different cloud. You don't want to move it. You just want to start getting that value today. Maybe it's business analysts. Listen, I don't have Python developers. I don't have Spark developers. I live in the cornfield in the Midwest. Can't afford them. We gotta use the business analysts we got. How do we still empower them with scale and tools? Self-service. Complex custom logic. Listen, I've got this bot. It's writing this code like crazy. I need something to execute this large Spark scale. So especially for the data engineering, I need to have orchestration. So when this task completes, go on to the next one. If something breaks, observability, kind of send me some notices, and maybe just some simplified data movement. I have data here. I want to move it there. Can you help me with that? That's really how I kind of think about asking these questions. Well, what do you need in your project? What are you trying to do? Cool. Let's start aligning those then. So when I think about the real-time streaming, hey, let's look at an event stream. We have some streaming data, pushing the event stream. We can land it into the event house. We can expose that data again through OneLake, making sure it's accessible as quickly as possible. For mirroring as well for replication. So for anyone who has like SQL database, if you have, I think Oracle is out there now too. Snowflake's a big one. Like there's a ton. I don't know, MySQL, there's a ton of sources there, but mirroring is quote unquote free. Read the asterisk. It's free up to the size of your capacity. So if you have an F2 capacity, that means you get 2 terabytes. Have an F64, 64 terabytes. We'll replicate that data for you. I don't want to build any pipelines. I don't want to manage this. I just want Microsoft to do everything for me. As changes occur in the system, automatically start feeding those into my mirrored database. So again, if you have a real-time or near real-time need, kind of consider those items. Zero copy federation. I don't have project budget. I don't have time, but I want to do these things. Can you point at my data? That is a shortcut. What's a shortcut? What is the shortcut on your desktop? It's a pointer. Yeah, it's a reference pointer. Here's where it lives. Go get it. Need to read it. There it is. We do a little bit of caching there for you. So especially if you're doing a lot of reads, we'll store and cache it a little bit, just make it a little bit faster for you. So definitely something to consider. Self-service data prep, hashtag Power Query, everything. I absolutely love it. You just point and click. I can do all my data transformation movement there with kind of the data flow gen 2, and then some really cool things in there. Complex custom code and logic. My gosh, these notebook folks, man, they're just writing code like crazy, doing amazing things. Python, PySpark, T-SQL. I think there's Scala R support in there too. Any other language you can kind of also get. Back to Morelli's question kind of earlier, user data functions. Anyone using those yet? Oh, they're amazing. So if you're using Azure functions, this is kind of our Fabric functions. Yep. So that's now natively available within Fabric. So if you think about like, well, I have this transformation that I do a lot, and I really like to just reference that one bit of code in separate notebooks, separate projects. So especially think of like data quality for your end users, put that in a function, have a function library, start calling those things. Just I love user data functions for that reason, which is reusable code. Orchestrated workflows. Anyone using Azure Data Factory today? Used it in the past a little bit, yeah. Same experience. Hey, bring those pipelines over. Really dynamic, metadata driven as well. If you really get pretty robust with it. And then, my gosh, the coolest one yet, copy job. If you want to just point your tables, copy all these, do these incremental updates, these appends, all this other amazing stuff, all through a low code, just assisted interface. This screen, next screen, next screen. It's amazing. I'll pause here. Is anyone not using some of these items today that you're kind of curious about?
You could do the same Gen 2 data flow as a copy job. Let's say you were just bringing in data, not much transformation. Benefit copy jobs faster. There's not much benefit if you don't do any transformation.
So this is where like the nuances come into play, where Dataflow Gen 2, they have a capability called fast copy, which under the hood will run a copy activity for you.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, it's the copy job is the copy activity in the pipeline. They're all kind of the same, which is a Azure fast copy. So if you've ever seen that utility out there,
yeah,
just bulk migration as fast as possible. They're all using the underlying same capabilities. Then it's really the authoring interface that is kind of into question. I would probably be like, if it's a simple data movement, I would point you to, or it's just copy job. Yep. Awesome. Ingestion guide here. So kind of getting into it right now. Real-time streaming, if you're needing kind of just as quickly as possible, Event Stream is a no-code streaming interface. Mirroring real-time database data source replication. Here's my source. Do it all for me. I don't care. Here's source. Here's the destination. Zero copy ingestion. Again, don't have to move data, point to it. It's like a shortcut on your desktop. It's just here's where the data lives. And of course, low code, no code integrations. Consider that data flow Gen 2 or copy job. So if that's kind of the background skill set, I'm a business analyst. Here are the tools you should start with or consider. And then a code first ingestion. Again, notebooks. They're just taking off like wildfire. And then orchestration, ingestion, pipeline. And then within the pipeline, the most important activity that you'll ever have is the copy. That's kind of the big one. So dynamic high performance data transfer. So especially if you're in a project where it's massive kind of a data movement, definitely kind of a point at the data pipeline. Cool. So event stream, when to use streaming or real-time scenarios, event routing and filtering. So you could have a source that's coming in. You could route it to multiple locations. So you could have like a hot path and kind of a cold path. So your hot path would go into your event house. This is real time right now. And then, I don't need to worry about the data after 24 hours. The temperature in this room doesn't really matter after we leave. So it could be very a time to live there. And then you have the long-term storage. Hey, I want to look at the long term. How much waste are we creating in this room by having the temperature up or down when people aren't in here? That's kind of your data science, that's your analytics. Store it here for right now, here for later. So that's, again, we can kind of think about that Lambda architecture. This is a no-code designer. So if you've not used it yet or seen it yet, oh my gosh, it's so fun. It's kind of like a little bit of Power Query. And then, of course, best for IoT, clickstream, real-time analytics or event-driven architecture. Cool. Mirroring, this is the near real-time database replication. It's wild. It's cool. Definitely check the considerations, the limitations. I think you can get up to like 500 tables. So if you're like, I want to go after 2,000, build it yourself. Like go for the data pipeline. This may not be the right tool for it. If there's anything wild that you want to kind of do in between, I want to do some transformations, other things. Again, this is not the tool. This is purely replication. But you have a existing server today. It's getting beat up by all of your analysts. They're writing these crazy Power BI reports. They're writing these crazy Tableau reports. We want to start offloading some of that resource contention locally up to the cloud. So it's up there. And then again, this is for a near real time. So if you're like, I made a change in the database and why am I not seeing it instantly? Near real time. I would still say it's probably like sub 30 seconds to a minute. Not too bad in terms of latency. Todd, I don't know if you have a different perspective there on your mirroring. Yeah. So yeah. So
No more than me.
yeah, that's where I'm like, it's still really good. I've never seen anyone who's like, I need it under 5 seconds. Like, you don't. The Power BI report, the visual bar, not too worried about it. Awesome. So I want to get out of this PowerPoint as quickly as possible, get us into some demos, because this is where things get fun. Awesome. And then, Julie, let me know if you see this part of the screen on the Teams. Awesome. Cool. So I wasn't sure. Cool. Let's go and do real-time intelligence. I want to go ahead and start up a little bit of a mock data stream here. I don't have an IoT device in the room, so I'm just going to create some synthetic data real quick. This will be for just we got some devices, some temperatures, some humidity. What's going on? Just go and run these cells here now. Let me go to the events device stream. Cool. I'm going to create a new one here then real quick. Let's see where we're at on time. 6:30. Oh, we're still good. All right. Does anyone remember what item should I use for real time? Does anyone remember what item? Is it mirror event stream? You said?
Event stream or
Yeah. So we'll do an event stream. So the get data, ingesting batch and real time data. Awesome. One here now. Has anyone created an event stream before? First time seeing it? Awesome. Once you see it, it's going to change your life. Cool. Connected to some data sources, use sample data, or kind of create a custom endpoint. Yeah, let's go and do that. So this will be my endpoint, devices, endpoint, source, and click add. Cool. So I now have my endpoint here. Creating the stream, and then I want to transform or add events. So some of the different things down here is I can add a destination. So I can pass this through to an activator. I can do an event house, or I can do a lake house. What was the best storage for real time? Does anyone remember?
Okay.
Event house.
that's the one with the
Awesome. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to my event house.
Update as fast or like share.
that's basically that. Yeah. And when you're talking real time IoT, you want like optimal storage like this, that can handle just large volumes of data coming in. Whereas Lakehouse takes a little bit of time to settle into the parking your files.
Oh, actually, let me go back to sharing. Cool. Get out of here. Cool. So I went through assisted navigation here on the right-hand side.
You ever heard?
Actually,
Factories, they get even data with are wearing things and you're monitoring your heart rate every 5 seconds, that kind of thing. So you do that for thousands of patients, that's generating a lot of data, and you want to report on a real time too. So you want it to land and turn right around or things like that.
And then
something like fabric. Potential.
oh yeah. All right, so in this example, yeah. So in this example, again, assisted right-hand menu, what's your warehouse, what's your event house, KQL, create a new table. I'm done. I want to go ahead and hit publish. So now it's getting the event stream endpoint ready for me. Kind of what Todd was talking about. I don't need to be so narrowly focused to IoT. Think about operational data.
Yeah.
So especially in Fabric, what are your logs? What are your things doing that you're running? You can then go out here to an event stream. And let me go and while this is getting up and running. Absolutely. Yep. Operational. And you'll see things like Azure Log Analytics and other products that are kind of in the past. So this is kind of the Custo storage. So again, kind of thinking about it from that method. And then it'll kind of show you here in the new source, connect to data sources. So out in this window, go to new source. And the best source that's out here, capacity events. So how much of your capacity are you using? Fabric workspace items. So event-driven items that you're doing. As this event occurs, I want you to kick off this activator. I want you to go do this thing. I want you to store my Power BI queries that everyone's beating up on this thing. I need to start diagnosing why I'm being throttled. Turn it on for a couple days, see who's the worst offender, and kind of go for it. Job events too, just operational data. So the things you're using within Fabric, start monitoring those. Awesome. My SAS key. Cool. Just real quick, get some mock data here going.
This is the box.
Yep. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and just run this here now. I'm passing in a JSON body. That's what it's accepting at the endpoint. So I'm going to just pass in JSON data, and then it'll start writing that automatically for us. Let this run a little bit. Shouldn't take too long. Again, this is just some fictitious small data. Here we go. Starting to build those JSON strings for me. So if I go into our event house, if I go into the event stream, kind of get a little preview going here in a second. Loading data. There it is. And then it's being written to the event house now. So if I was to go back out, kind of into our workspace, come on, click that. Real-time intelligence, event house example. Event house example. Here's my tables, devices demo that we just did. There's my data. Already showing up in event house. Doesn't need to be IoT only. Could be your operational data, could be your logs, could be diagnosing, debugging. So thinking about it from that perspective. Maybe you have an application you're building, you want to start sending that to this endpoint. Here's the address, start firing JSON into it. Cool. So I want to kind of go back then to this event stream real quick, because there's something very cool that occurred here recently that I think a lot of people missed. Let's get out of here. I hate that there's no exit. Get out of here. Get out of here. Add data. Is anyone here using REST APIs for some of your data source? So we added this really cool thing here recently, HTTP preview. Configure and ingest data from public feeds and SaaS platforms with REST API. I'm just gonna go ahead and use this open weather here real quick. Yep. And of course, you can call your own custom. When you use this open weather here, I can choose the REST method. I can pass in keys. I can set the interval here, so the number of seconds. So again, hit this API every 15 seconds, every 60 seconds. So when we kind of talk about that micro batch, here's what we're talking about. So go ahead and press next, creating this now here for us, review and connect. Again, this is one of those very cool things where we announce like 10,000 things all at once, and you may have missed it. So traditionally, you'd be like, yeah, I need to call an API. I'm going to go to a notebook. I'm going to go to a data pipeline. I'm going to go do it over here, right here, sitting in that house. Thoughts, comments, concerns? Does that change a couple things? Awesome. Cool. Yes. So now I have my weather table. So calling APIs is very interesting to me, especially when I think about real time. I don't know that I have any that I'm like necessarily needing to go at a very low granularity of like every 15 seconds go and hit that API. But certainly if that was a need, if you want to hitting it, every so many minutes, definitely have an event stream considered. Kind of go back to Chris's question, like why event stream versus Lakehouse? The event house and kind of Kusto itself, it loves very rich nested data. So especially as we think about, JSON structure, and when we start thinking about AI, being able to have multiple attributes in that single column, fantastic. So now I'm thinking about, well, how do I get as much data into an event house, and then how do I expose that with a data agent on top of it? I don't want to have rich text, verbose text, fantastic for here. Again, think about those logs. Cool. Any thoughts, comments, concerns about Event House before I kind of continue on to maybe the next? Pause here. First time seeing it. What do you think? You could do it? We didn't write any code. That was point and clicks.
Yeah, I think I need to try out.
Yeah. And then let me go back to one more thing here.
Still got cool, yeah. Events coming in with action.
I mean, couldn't I, you mentioned the API, not thinking about it, or like, let's say, just the admin API, do for Power BI. You could do, if I wanted to see, right, when someone uses the Excel connection, that's an admin API.
I wouldn't use it. You don't need to. Or you have Fabric events in there for you as a data source. You point to that and then you start going through your activities. Yeah, absolutely. So when this event occurs, go do this thing. All right, so this is what is called a default stream. If you want to create a derived stream, you can go here. You can insert a node. You can do things like aggregate data, filter it down. So maybe I'm only looking for certain conditions. You could then also, join it, kind of do these other fun things. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. Plus custom code, you can write SQL code against the incoming data. That one's pretty cool if you're kind of that background. The big thing for me, though, is going to be kind of adding a different destination. So maybe I want to have some data right to my lake house. Look how difficult this is. Oh my gosh, point and click, drag it. Whew. Drag it right there. That's how easy. That's my hot path. Here's my cold path. Again, what's your lake house? Go through the menus. Create a new table. Spinny wheel. Awesome. Schema. That's me and my devices. Done. Input data format. Again, it's coming in as a JSON. Some of these other types. Then I'm going to go ahead and activate it. So if I needed to split some of my data in certain directions, I can do that through the transformations, the filtering. If I need to write some to Event House, I need to write some to Lake House. I can route different paths, maybe an activator, again, for taking action. Just all this here through kind of that low code interface. So it's a pretty awesome. Hit publish. Everything's ready to rock and roll. Sweet. No, so what you'll probably do whenever you start getting to a level of maturity is moving a lot more of your logic and things into the actual KQL. So you may have like update policies at the table. You may have like when data lands, start applying these transformations or this logic. So again, that could be through your update policy. And then at that point, it's, hey, it's KQL. But that's a very simple language. Kind of a huge fan of that. Awesome. All right. Well, that's real-time data. I kind of talked then. What's my next one here? Shortcuts. Oh my gosh. Shortcuts are awesome. Zero copy ingestion. I'm not doing this whole Fabric thing. Sorry, guys. All of our data lives in GCP, but we are a Power BI customer. We're also an M365 customer. We'd like to start building data agents on top of that stuff. Do I need to go through a 3-year cloud movement project? Absolutely not. Wherever your data lives, we're open for business. So if it's a S3 with Amazon, if it's GCP with kind of Google, Some awesome things here, especially within the Microsoft stack. We just have announced OneDrive and SharePoint. So for the business users who are like, this is our data lake, it's a SharePoint folder. Here you go, let's tap into that. And of course, Dataverse, if anyone's using kind of the CRM. This is also data federation across workspaces. So you have some amazing data, I have some amazing data. I want you to copy and give me another copy of yours, and we should double pay on storage. Doesn't make any sense. It lives right there. Go get it. Just point at it. Yeah, you're right. We don't have to copy it. It's a reference pointer. Virtual data access, again, no movement. Permission pass-through, we just announced OneLake security. So definitely kind of look into that, still in preview. Then just data sharing without duplication. Awesome. So let's get into a demo. This is where things get fun with shortcuts. Get out of this. Gotta make sure I turn some of these event houses off. I'm gonna turn this off. I don't need it. Turn off. Deactivate all. Yes. Boop, boop. Getting closer. Stop and close. Awesome. So let's do shortcuts. So within OneLake, we have a concept of tables, and we have a concept of files. So OneLake itself, it's built on top of Azure Data Lake Gen 2 storage. OneLake is just an abstraction layer where we connect all these different storages. So especially within your tenant, within your workspace, here are a bunch of storage accounts you have. You'd like to share them with me. OneLake is that connecting tissue. Within that, files be semi-structured, could be unstructured, could be media, could be pictures, could be MP4s, anything you can kind of think of. That's where you throw out into your storage. Set your file section. Tables, these are ideally optimized for your analytics projects. So this is a Parquet file, and it has the Delta log. So if I was going to look at this here now, few files. That's the Parquet. Get out of here. And then there's my Delta log. So this contains all my transactions, updates, changes. Looks like a little bit of mashup engine here. So I was using some Power Query. So especially as you're starting to do Power BI, we now have cool things like Direct Lake, where we're going directly against these files. You no longer have to import stuff anymore. No more caching within Power BI. It lives out here. We'll read directly from it. Tables, again, that's the Parquet files. That's just kind of the raw data. So especially in this example, right-click my files. I want to go ahead and create a new shortcut. A shortcut could exist within OneLake, could be external sources. Again, so it does not have to be just Microsoft. Could be Amazon, could be Google, Amazon S3, kind of a more generic. But I'm going to go ahead and click on Microsoft OneLake. Click on P in a day lake. Let's try this. See what's out here. There we go. Sweet. So we got some files out here. Come on. Come on. Try it one more time. New shortcut. OneLake. In a day. What is going on here? Not liking me. Let's try one more. Sales Lake House. That's what I get in trouble with here, having too many lake houses. All right, I'm getting out of it then. This lake house is a nightmare. All right, let's go to shortcuts. Tables. These shortcuts. I know stuff is out here. Sales Lake House. There we go. There's some buttons we can click. So I got a couple tables in another workspace. Another team built these out. They would start sharing them. So especially things like dimensions that should be common across your organization, like calendars, like customers, like products, just various attributes. Creating the shortcut, and then we automatically copy that data, right? We brought it in, we ingested it. Did we copy it with the shortcut? Zero copy, right? It's a reference pointer. We didn't move anything. Here's where it lives. Just point at it. So that's a shortcut. You can shortcut tables, you can shortcut files. So that's why I want to do the cool stuff here now with files. Let's jump out into Office. Go into a shortcut example. Yeah. So
Stare at it, figure out who actually did the.
Especially if you're trying to do like joins.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So Alex, that's a good question. So
Yep.
Say that I'm doing. I've got two databases I shortcut. So bad, just like,
databases, what do you mean? That'd be a mirror, right?
oh, that'd be a mirror. Database would be a mirror. So, okay, so say that, okay, how about this one? Say I have an S3 bucket with patients, and then I have a Azure Data Lake store location with patient encounters.
Yep.
And I try to write a Spark SQL query.
Yep.
Over the top of that.
Yep.
How would that work?
It's possible. SQL Analytics endpoint. You can write a SQL statement across multiple locations. Of course,
Something has to be.
yeah, for certain. Like there's going to be latency somewhere. If everything was in the same geo region, perhaps it's a little bit better. But if you're hitting on that constantly, that's where we do the caching. So we make the reads a little bit faster for you. Yeah.
I was thinking, somebody suggested on Reddit. Snowflake, you can which is shortcuts. Someone said that, but to me, if I shortcutted Lake House, this was when I was looking at direct link. Wouldn't that still be, if it's not actually copied, how could it be fast? Model, be direct link through a shortcut and the data not actually be.
So direct lake, one of the big benefits you're going to have is when it's OneLake native.
Okay.
And when one of our engines writes the data itself, we will apply the view order optimization. So that's the Vertipack engine. Yeah.
Hear it, then I need to hear it into the Lake House. Send it to the Lake House from there.
So whenever you mirror, we'll automatically have that data replicated for you and available within OneLake through the endpoint. Yeah.
I said shortcut.
All right. Whew. All right. I was about to say we're going on an awesome tangent here. I love it. Cool. So for my business users, their data lives in OneDrive. It lives in SharePoint. That's where we want to kind of point to here. So I'm creating a shortcut against their files. So their file directory here, see they have this, their document library, subfolders, subfolders, subfolders. They've got tons of them. Anything that ends up in the subfolder in the future, though, I really want to just kind of make it accessible and visible within Fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and press next. I'll create a new shortcut. Do I want to transfer my data? No, not yet. I just want to make it accessible. Go ahead and press skip. Press create. Cool. Awesome. Click over to SharePoint. Here's my SharePoint data right here. That was vehicles folder. There it is, accessible within OneDrive. I don't want to bounce between multiple web windows, multiple applications. It lives here. I can reference it through my notebooks, through my other applications. It's available. It's living, again, through that virtualization network that OneLake has. This is awesome. This is awesome. Scenario for me though is every day vendor sends us an email. I've got a Power Automate script. It automatically writes this folder location. I just want to start appending that data and getting insights out of it, right? I don't want to do any work though. I'll be honest with you, I'm lazy. So I'm gonna go to my DBO, my new table shortcut. I'm gonna go to my SharePoint folder. Again, I'm gonna point to this folder. Press next. I have this shared documents. And press next. Yep, my vehicles. And then shortcuts, do they allow transformation or is it just reference pointers? Can we do anything with it? Can we turn it into a CSV into a Parquet file? Or is it, how does that work? Can I change the format of it through the shortcut or is the shortcut just a reference? We can't do anything.
Looks like it. Great.
Oh, all right. So automatically applying a transformation. So shortcut transforms. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my CSV file into that optimized table, which is what type of file format? Parquet. So I'm gonna turn these CSV files into a Parquet file automatically and press create. Cool. Let's give that a quick second here. Is anyone using shortcut transforms today? Well, let's go ahead and see what's going on here. So it's
Despite like while. It's a shortcut, so the CSV could be gargantuan in its own right. And one cell within the middle of it would change.
yep.
And it will contain a Parquet format of the same data.
Let me make sure one thing here real quick.
Without
Without even comment.
comment. That's,
Yes. Right. Get out of that short
so it'll
document.
contain the header block of the Parquet.
There we go. So there is my shortcut transform. There's my vehicles file. Loading, spinning wheels. Come on.
So is there an endpoint to this file possible?
So SQL Analytics endpoint where I can read and do SQL against it, or I can reference it from notebooks.
Like what?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah,
So you could duck DB into a CSV
absolutely.
without elements.
For sure. So the ABFSS file path. What do we have here? Properties, shortcuts. There's the drive, ABFS file path. So all that fun stuff accessible. Cool. So again, our scenario was we get new files every day. They get dropped in. I have this 5-row file currently. Tomorrow I have this new file that's getting added. Just going to drop that into my vehicles. Hopefully it can move. Drag and drop. Yeah, new file was just moved into it. All right. So there's my shortcuts. Get out of here. So I've got 5 files. If I right click this, I can look at the manage shortcut. You can see from the monitor, hey, that new file that was just added, it's now going through in progress. It's appending it to that table that we have created. So this file that has 5 rows will, yeah, that's the, yeah, the shortcut transform. Absolutely. Well, this is materializing this. This is a whole new table. That's where it gets blurry, like some of these items.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not lost. Awesome. So it's now succeeded. We had 5 rows before. Let's go ahead and refresh this table.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go to the endpoint here real quick, just because Sometimes I notice the caching is just a little bit longer. So vehicles, give me a little preview. Whoop. 10 rows. Come on. I just saw you 2 seconds ago. I saw it too. I saw it too. It's my impatient clicker. I told you 22 years on Steam. I'm just. Yep.
Second step, but now starting to build.
Yep.
That's right.
10 rows. And
So is it keeping CSV as is, and then within here, it's also pretty parquet. So
absolutely. Yeah.
now
So,
you don't lose
to take, so some more cases separate.
Yeah.
The third thing that you can do.
Yep.
Not to throw a scenario, but, this table is real, like it's a.
Real.
If they delete the files, do those erase?
It's a great question, Chris. I did not pay you to be here tonight, but let's try.
Well, I'm almost would think I almost. But at the same time, for the whole concept, maybe I wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, let's.
Yeah,
It should.
I could see both where I like, oh, I wanted to stay in, and I could see one where.
It's a synchronized or import process.
All right. So
Again, the shortcut and the table building are two different things, right?
yeah, so the shortcut is the original folder location, and then the shortcut transform is materializing the data into an actual Parquet file. So right now,
Oh, so there's not a third thing. There's, okay.
Through a shortcut, right click.
so hold on. Let's do a couple things.
Materializing into a Parquet, it's not a pass through. Still shortcut. It is materializing it, locally consuming those resources.
Yep.
The pulling into a table isn't to separate the thing. It's still the Parquet thing. Okay.
So here we go, Chris. Manage shortcut. Let's go ahead and see. We just moved a file out. Just waiting for it. Come on. Refresh this. There's 10 rows. Manage shortcuts. Come on. Man, this is why SharePoint is a beast. There it is, in progress. What's happening? What's your bet? Does the data retain or does it change? Everyone thinks it's going to stay.
You'll figure it out. I think
You think it's gone? Why would it be gone?
shortcut. I'm not a-
Yeah.
Oh, that was Bobby. He kind of.
So manage the shortcut. Let's see here. Yep, succeeded. Let's go to the SQL endpoint. We're running a SQL statement against this again. Come on. View. Select top. Get out of here. Come on. Hold on. It's not there yet. Just wait. You refresh. This is where some of that metadata sync can come back and bite you just a little tad.
Getting cross nodes now.
I've got 5. We had 5. We had another file. We were up to 10. We removed a file, removed it from the table. How did we do that?
Well, but the reference.
That delta log
Oh,
keeps the transactions, right? There was an insert. I can now go back and I can reference that. I can delete that specific portion of the data. So if you're to go through those transaction logs, you'd be able to see some of those different events. Come on, files. View files. That delta log. Yeah, and here were some of the different transactions that were just occurring. 704, 706, 710. There you go. There's my overwrite. There's my changes. Shortcut transforms. Pretty awesome. Currently supported for CSV and text files. In the future, obviously think Excel files and other things that we'll be incorporating there too. So what can we land here?
Transform.
Huh? That's for the shortcut transform, yeah. And then they do have some different transforms in there as well, where I think you can apply like some AI classification, other things in transit. So if you wanted to add some a couple different things, if you're wanting to do full-blown custom code, again, not necessary for this. This is more of just that quick pass through. But a big fan here of the shortcuts. So again, we can shortcut at the file level. So maybe files existed in SharePoint. We're not ready to do anything with them yet, but we want to make them living right next to our other data in OneLake. Or if you're like, hey, these are ready for analytics, let's go for it. Let's convert these into tables, just making those accessible.
I know I always ask this, but blanket question. What is the smallest group that can get access to this?
So I would say from a licensing perspective, it's going to be a F2 capacity, and that's going to be around $270 USD a month. Yeah, that's a 24/7 reservation. But if you wanted to be like, we're in the building at 8, we're out at 4, you can turn it on and off. Yep. Absolutely, yeah. That's what I'm like, if we can just do a flat rate and just kind of go for it.
Okay. This. These $300 a month-ish, and then you'll have this parking.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And Nancy can save her CSV files and her world doesn't stop because she.
For me, the SharePoint and OneDrive, it's where the business lives and it's where they work. So I'm just trying to give them better tools with Fabric. They don't necessarily need to go all in on a lake house and one lake, keep storing it over here.
Yes, it's Excel, but we can pull it out. You know,
Yeah, sure.
Do with Excel and then her world is not edited, but I can automate them.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the big thing for me is I'm not oblivious to the fact that more kids are learning code at earlier ages. Like kids are learning Python like crazy. So people who are already in their job, they just may not have access to the tools that they need, but they absolutely have the skill set. So if we can say, hey, here's Python, here's SQL, here's all these cool things, what can you build? I think we've already seen some of that through like the low code kind of Power Platform wave that came through. And I think now it's kind of like, what else can these people do? Awesome. So pipeline copy activity. So underneath the hood, again, Power Query with data flows. Whenever you're doing a fast copy, we're using this thing, which is the copy within the copy job itself. Obviously, just a simplified interface that uses this thing once again. It's the Azure Fast Copy. If you're ever looking out on the internet, fantastic for moving data at high volumes. But that's absolutely what this kind of uses. Built-in connector is Visual Designer, so it's very low code. Drag and drop if you ever build a data factory pipeline. Loops, condition, error handling, built-in monitoring alerts. This one meets a lot of the traditional ETL or ELT scenarios. Extract, transform land, or just ELT. Kind of a big fan of that now with Fabric myself. ELTL, I guess, is the actual acronym. I know. Extract land, transform land. It's like, all right, let's keep adding more. Copy job, kind of the very cool one here, large scale data migrations. And I know we've got about 15, so I want to probably do just copy job here in the overview. Point to a location, grab the data, move it to another location. Super simple, high volume, simple setup, one-time migrations, continuous runs, if that's something of importance too. So let's go do a demo of that. Let's get out of here. Let's do a copy job. Love shortcuts. Love OneDrive shortcuts. Get out of here. All right, so let's do new. All items, huge list of items. Start with the different categories like getting data, making it easy to move. Copy, job demo, go to create. Spinning wheel. Woo. Okay. Awesome. No code, simple guided interface here. So just this assistant, choose your source, choose your destination, where you want to kind of move things in between. Let's go to my OneLake catalog here real quick. Grab my warehouse. I should have some data out there. Can I do any transformations within a copy job? Does anyone know? Do any transformations?
Like mapping, color mapping.
Column mapping, absolutely. You can change the schema. So just you can choose what columns you may want to bring in. It's just light transformations that are supported here. The cool one that I saw recently, you can now start writing SQL scripts as well. So if you're like, hey, I want you to write this or execute this custom logic against the source. Here's a customer table. Again, select it all. I don't need these keys. Don't really care about them for my BI project. Here's the data I do need. Here's my preview. Choose different tables, multiple, going through data destination. Here's where I'd like to move it to. Maybe my lake house. I want to do a full copy or an incremental. So again, it supports incremental overwrites. I can choose the column for like the timestamp. Just gonna do a full copy though in this one. Next, what's the operation? Is going to be a append, is going to be a replace. Do I want to write it just as a binary output? So to the file section, maybe convert this table into like a CSV, or do I just want to kind of move it into a Parquet again? DBO customers, again, just schema mapping that's very light in terms of transform. And that's it. Start data transfer immediately. Run once, run on a schedule. So it does support scheduling. Now been set up. It's my copy job right here. Whew. Good morale.
That is expect PDF or FDF. Just be light and not store any metadata. I didn't expect that it would store any metadata on table, like table, row counts and CDC of the table somewhere.
It does support that.
It does.
Yeah. And that's where it's getting more and more powerful. I think a lot of the customer feedback you'll probably see is that they really enjoy this just from the ease of use. I mean, that was screen, you're done in terms of setup. Again, if you're like, I need a full-blown customization, build your own data pipeline, build your own custom code. But for a simple project, like I have data locally, I need to move certain things up the cloud. This is amazing. If you don't want to do this, you can use starts with an M. What's that item? M mirroring, yeah. Awesome, yeah. So you can mirror the data yourself if you want. There should be, for sure. I know DB2 is one of the sources.
I know products that just collapsed too. It's expensive. They're very expensive.
So this one, rows read, rows written, duration, you'd be able to see all your tables if you were doing different operations like the append or updates. Go through modify, change data sources, scheduling it. Again, from a point and click interface perspective, this is awesome. Huge fan of copy job. The best feedback I've heard, you brought a lot of stuff into Fabric from them, Azure. This is the first thing that was built in Fabric, and they love how simple it is. So how do we get more of these experiences? So definitely consider this. Again, I'm going to go out to my LinkedIn. I'm going to update my job title to data engineer. I'm going to get all that big money now, knowing how easy it is to do data engineering. Huge fan. Absolutely.
Stuff, people who are not super, they don't do much of the Python coding.
Yeah.
Backend stuff.
For sure. There's more of them than there are us. So how do we get more access to more data through people who are working the front line of the job? They have business domain knowledge. They understand the problem that needs solved. Let's just get the tools in their hands. And then obviously everything's governed through One Lake and the portal and all this other fun stuff. And you use Chris's tool kind of help with that. Awesome. So that's copy job, data flows. I think everyone here is kind of familiar with Power Query, so I'll kind of skip that demo just in the interest of time. Notebooks, complex code, ML pipelines, Spark, PySpark, kind of Python, Scala, R, SQL that we all support, Apache Spark, distributed processing. It's obviously Fabric, just kind of the Spark engine that we have, and a couple cool things like the knee execution engine. We're always improving it all the time. But with that, let's get into a demo. Write code, execute code. And just in the interest of time, I think everyone has a little bit of a foundation of that. I'm just going to call it to a file here, endpoint address. Nothing wild. I'm going to create a file though, my lake house. Cool. So get out of your temp. Tables, population guide tables. Let's go ahead and run this. And then the different, again, languages that supported out here, PySpark, Scala, SQL, Spark R, Python, T-SQL. And then I'm going to show something really cool here in just a moment. So we're running, importing a couple libraries, going against this URL, get some local data going in our One Lake, and then just creating a new table as well. Let all these run. 1 second. 8 seconds.
Sorry, dumb question. Are all those languages applicable to any of the sources?
What do you mean?
Like I could use T-SQL on like a different source that's looking at ABFSS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. So there's some data, creating tables, my data frames that are now out here, doing some edits, transforms, filtering data. It's code. Again, I don't need to explain it a lot. Whatever you can imagine, kind of build and go do. At the very end, though, the important parts. Right format, saving it as a table. And then what's the benefit that we talked about with a native Fabric table here? Does anyone remember? What was that benefit I talked about for your Power BI projects in Direct Lake? What is the benefit of having a Fabric native writer for this Delta Parquet, this file here? What's the benefit? Yeah. Oh, it's V order optimization. So any of the engines, the benefit here is going to be that algorithm that we apply to the file to make it smaller, make it more compressed, make it faster under reads. So if it's a Fabric native writer, so if I build a data flow, the output is going to write is Parquet again, and then I'm going to apply that algorithm. V order, what that stands for is Vertipack. So it's our Vertipack engine from Analysis Services, 20 years, this incredible patent, blazing fast reads. We took that algorithm, we applied it to the writers here within Fabric. So we created this file, now optimized, and go build a Power BI report directly on top of it with that Direct Lake that you were just talking about, Chris. Boom, 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 super fast. Yeah, so if you go through the different experiences, like in your copy activity in a data pipeline, you'll see enable V-order optimization. You can turn that on or off. I'll bring this up for most scenarios. I turn it off because if you're early in stage of just getting data, you don't need to worry about that extra expense. It's raw. Don't worry about it. My business users will never see it. So think about a medallion architecture. Here's raw. Here's kind of an enriched, deduplication. Here's ready for serving. You should only be applying that optimization ideally at that gold layer. Maybe get it ready for it. There's guidance out there in the docs that says, hey, we've now disabled it for these engines, and here's how to enable it. So it's just a little bit of a config there and kind of update your code with. Cool. awesome, love it. Code executed, it's the coolest thing in the world. Love code. I'm gonna go back, get out of the session. I'm gonna show this awesome thing. T-SQL magic. Has anyone heard about this or anyone using this? Anyone familiar with it? T-SQL magic. Run T-SQL code in a Fabric Python notebook. Yeah.
Oh, wow, so it's that. So it's T-SQL, not.
I love that in that Polyglot notebooks had that, it still does.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's more nice. The value of T-SQL is that your SQL server, you can dabble in Spark, where like, if you and I decide to show up and play around with Databricks, we have to learn MySQL.
Cool. So let's go ahead and use this example here. I'm going to go ahead and write out to make sure. I don't know if I have anything on this one yet. I'll delete them both. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Awesome. Let's see if it runs. Hopefully it should be good. I don't see any issues. So imagine a scenario where you're a Python developer, you're hitting some APIs, you're taking that JSON response, you're storing it temporarily within a data frame. You could then reference that data frame and write T-SQL on top of it. So now you're mixing multiple languages within kind of a single solution here now. So I'm starting to store some of my results, kind of creating my tables here now, taking that data frame with the SQL that I wrote and being able to reference it within pandas to do additional transformations operations with it. So you can get really creative here now with the T-SQL magic, being able to mix and match.
So that was a Python cell?
Yeah, so right here, my magic T-SQL command. So, and then I'm be able to reference that data frame with Python.
Do you do percent SQL at the top, or do you just change the code? So,
Yeah. So run T-SQL right here. For percent T-SQL, I can reference the artifact. And then T-SQL magic commands. Yeah, so right here. It is awesome.
Right, Dave, but
Yeah, for sure.
so now it's like, that the thing before, you couldn't write data with T-SQL.
Yeah.
You could only read warehouse.
Yeah.
So then you had to choose warehouse if you wanted to write data with T-SQL.
So right here, that
They've been saying forever, that's coming.
so percent T-SQL, Sean, then write your statement, store in a data frame, do some cool stuff with Python, write it back into your warehouse, SQL database, and the other locations. Being able to mix and match multiple languages, that's so awesome to think about from a T-SQL background. Awesome. Let me try and get to kind of the last bits here, just because we're a little bit at time and I don't want to keep you too much longer. Decision frameworks, kind of the big ones for me is volume, velocity, variety, and versatility. It's kind of my big four. How much data do you have? Small to medium. Hey, let's just kind of use the easy tools. Could be as simple as a shortcut. Could be as easy as the business tool here, Dataflow Gen 2. If it's very large to very large, consider notebooks, copy job, or even the pipeline, kind of that movement. Velocity is just how fast of the data do we need to access. Event stream, mirroring. We saw with event stream, we could even go against APIs. So we need to kind of do that micro batch. Like, let's really just kind of beat up on that API and get it as quickly as possible. For a batch operation, we don't care about the data freshness. Once a day, once an hour, once every couple hours, kind of the Dataflow Gen 2 pipeline or copy job. Variety, it's truly your source. What's the shape of the data? And then where are you going to anticipate on landing it? So Lakehouse, kind of be more of a PySpark to kind of build those Delta files. Warehouse, of course, T-SQL, SQL database, SQL, or Python, mixing it with the SQL magic. Venhouse, Cosmos. Versatility, I mean, this is the big one for me. Just what is the skill set of your team? What is their knowledge base? How do we help grow them into where they need to be? If right now they're used to low-code tools, they can still get the job done. Data flows will get it prepared, move the data for them. And of course, code first, whatever they can kind of imagine. Common patterns, hybrid. I use a little bit of this tool. I use a little bit of that tool. I use a lot of all of the tools. Absolutely, that's fine. Doesn't have to be all or nothing. Mix and match. If you have multiple skill sets on the team, So our low code group, they get into the lake, then we take it from there. We start enriching it as more like the professional developers. Lambda, that's what we talked about earlier. Here's hot path data. Here's cold path. Right now, I need to take action on this data. So I need to kick off an activator alert when this event happens, or IoT devices. Here's data that's coming in. Here's long-term storage. Here's my cold path where I'll come back to it and I'll analyze it. I'll do my data science project on 6 months worth of sensors in this room. Or is it too hot? Is it too cold? Medallion, that's kind of the big one that I recommend the most. Raw ingestion, silver for cleansing, and then gold for aggregations. That way you always have kind of a little bit of separation. If you ever need to roll back, you have kind of that separation. Whew. Closing thoughts, no one size fits all. I think when Fabric launched, everyone's like, where's the best practices? Where's the recommendations? They don't exist. It's your project, it's your needs. What are you trying to build? What do you need to build? Here are your Lego blocks. Start building up the scaffolding, especially with the introduction of SQL database. Now that we have transaction systems in there, it's like, cool. What else do you need to build? What else can we do? Keep it simple. I'm sorry. Over-engineering stuff is not cool. It's never been cool. It will never be cool. It's just the simple matter. The best solution is the one you can hand off. So if you can transfer your solution to someone else, that is success. Consider team skills, train strategically, attend user groups, go to Fabric analyst in a day sessions, get certified. Just there's so many opportunities to kind of upskill, and then optimize and monitor. Oh my gosh, you talk about getting an F2, start measuring it. Are we beating up on it? Are we not using enough of it? Once you paid the bill, it's 0 to 100. Use it or lose it. At the end of 24 hours, if you've not maximized that thing, hey, what's going on here? What else can we start building? Implement alerts and diagnostics. Thinking about the event stream, Chris, I'm going to subscribe to my Fabric items or capacity-based items. Once capacity goes above 80%, kick off an activator. Maybe it's scale up, scale down in the capacity. Different things you can kind of imagine. The last bit here is, of course, we went through a lot of slides. If you're like, I really wish there was a massive matrix that I go out and study, we have that covered for you too. So all of this just through a matrix, kind of go out and reference within the docs. Really great job. It covers a lot of different sources, capabilities, etc. But just know there's a lot of options. Not one particular one is the right one. It's learning the certain strengths and benefits of each that I think really kind of sets you up for success long term. Whew, my gosh, because we're a little bit past time. Thank you so much for getting into the building, for attending tonight, Sean. I know you were struggling out there in the parking lot. We were thinking about you. Hopefully, though, we'll see you around. Thank you, Julie and Morale, for hosting the events. Thanks for attending SQL Saturday. I think I've seen a couple of you. Thanks for attending user groups. Thanks for attending our user group. We've got one this Thursday. For us, it's really like, hey, how do we make this region even better? It's through events and kind of discussions like these. So thank you all for your time. Whew.